Right, some of you might have heard that Boris Johnson spoke to the sniffer-in-chief Joe Biden recently and was the first one to do it, which the media have promoted as if it's a good thing for the people of Britain and they should be grateful for it or something, which of course they really should not be. Him calling Boris Johnson first over any other European leader is really expected. They both toe the same line, as their identical slogans proved long ago, but aside from that are a pair of globalist shitweasels pushing agendas the people do not support. So of course they'll be on the phone to each other as quick as possible. As a matter of fact, I expect they've spoken before that. This one would probably just be for public consumption. And I would suggest the reason for that is because the stuff they're talking about before now is not something we would support, as I said. You would be hard-pressed to find many real people happy with the Boris Biden climate agenda that will cost the country trillions to implement and no one actually voted for. Because when I say the country paying for it, what I really mean is you lot paying for that shit. But on top of that, like 99% of everything Boris Johnson has done in the past year spits in the face of every Tory voter and the so-called values the Conservative Party claims to support. Of course, these people are just conservative in name only, and like all political parties, eventually only care about themselves and maintaining control over us peasants. I mean, honest question here, how many of you lot that voted for the Tories did it because you wanted them to work with Joe Biden combating climate change, containing COVID, by which they mean containing our freedoms and ensuring global health security? When the fuck did you all vote for socialism? Because that's kind of what that sounds like to me. Personally, I thought people voted Tory to stop international handouts, all this woke bollocks and everything that we hate. Not commit to helping the fucking world with its self-security and any agenda that the old sniffing tosspot Biden wants to push, let me tell you that. As I've said before, Boris Johnson is just pissing in your pocket and telling you it's raining. Now Breitbart picked up on this, so let's check that out. But first, remember to follow me on my other social media channels that are linked below. You never know how long you got left on YouTube or any platform for that matter, as we see with Parler just recently. So like I said, all the links are down below. Check them out if you want to follow me elsewhere. I do post to Gab and places like that fairly often. But back to the story at hand, like I said, Breitbart picked up on it, so let's see what they had to say. It headlines Biden calls Boris before other European leaders to plan Build Back Better agenda. Which, yeah, could well be extremely true, and I expect is what they are doing. We don't know that for sure, but I would place money on it at this point. Prime Minister Boris Johnson reportedly told Joe Biden that his ascendancy to the White House represented a moment of hope in a dark time, as the leaders discussed their Build Back Better agenda during a phone call on Saturday. Which, like I said, remember to let me know down in the comments how many of you voted for this Build Back Better bullshit. I didn't vote Tory, so I can't say fuck all, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure most people who voted for him certainly didn't. It says Mr. Johnson is reported to be the first international leader in Europe to speak with Joe Biden as president. Relations between the two leaders appeared to have warmed after initially seeming cool due to Biden's opposition to Brexit and Johnson's past criticism of Barack Obama removing a bust of Winston Churchill from the Oval Office, which obviously Biden also did, and the snivelling shitweasel Boris Johnson was completely silent on because he's a fucking toad. According to a White House readout of the conversation, Biden expressed his intention to work with the Johnson administration to revitalize transatlantic ties and work through multilateral organizations on shared challenges such as combating climate change, containing COVID, and ensuring global health security. Which obviously Boris Johnson tweeted, and none of us voted for, none of us wanted. Well, I didn't vote for Boris, but most of you lot probably did, and you certainly didn't vote for this shit, I'm willing to bet. But this is what Boris Johnson is doing anyway. So you can be sure at this point, if you voted for Boris Johnson to do something, he's probably not going to do it. In fact, he'll likely do the complete opposite. He noted his readiness to work closely with Prime Minister Johnson as the United Kingdom hosts the G7 and United Nations Climate Change Conference COP26 this year, the readout said. A Downing Street source told The Telegraph that Johnson welcomed the fantastic initial announcements from the Biden administration and moment of hope in a dark time. What the fuck is Boris Johnson on about there? From what I can tell, Biden has cocked up almost everything he's done since he took office. Costing thousands of jobs, putting on mask mandates before not wearing the mask himself and all this bollocks. Yeah, it's really gone well for him. Obviously, Boris Johnson doesn't care about reality. He's just interested in pushing the fucking agenda. Anyone who doesn't think he is just an idiot at this point. As a matter of fact, I actually expect they're pushing multiple agendas, but that doesn't really matter. The BBC certainly don't care about that. Fear porn is all they've got at the moment, holding the government or anyone else to account, not a fucking chance. A government spokesman said that the leaders also discussed the benefits of a potential free trade deal between our two countries, and the Prime Minister reiterated his intention to resolve existing trade issues as soon as possible. Which kind of sounds to me that Biden told him off for something, and he said, "No, it's okay, we will do what you say. Oh, Master Biden, please don't fucking sniff me." And the rest of it there is just talking a load of old bollocks that we don't really care about and is not really relevant to this. Obviously, all the media have been saying this is a good thing, which realistically, I don't think it is. Not because of my dislike for Biden, but simply because no cunt voted for this, let me tell you. And I expect the comments will suggest as much down below. Now, as I said when I was reading it out, I'm really pissed off that Boris Johnson is still pushing this climate change nonsense. We always knew he was going to, but there was a small part of me that hoped he would fuck it off. Of course, that's not going to happen now, and instead it's going to cost everyone trillions of pounds. And let me tell you, the grandkids of your grandkids will likely still be paying for this bollocks then.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.